Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello, my name is Nadia from 5PA class. I'm going to explain you about summarizing data. First of all, we should know what is summarizing. Summarizing is simplifying the data. Why do we summarize? It's because summarizing data are going to help us providing information or conceptualizing the data into more meaningful information for everyone, because at the end it should be easier to be read. Introductions. Descriptive statistics describe basic features of the data. The data that we have already gathered from the experimental study, we are going to provide them in a simplest way of summaries itself. For example, about graphics, numbers, or tables or something like that. Together with graphics analysis, such as histogram, bar plots, pie charts, and others, they are the cornerstone of quantitative data analysis. First of all, tables, frequency distribution, stem and leaf plots that summarize the data. Second is graphical representations of data like histograms, bar plots, pie charts. And the third one is summary statistic or numbers which summarize the data. Some ways to summarize the data are: the first one is tables. The most common ways of summarizing data into tables are frequency distributions. If the relative frequency distributions and relative frequency distribution tables, another common format is using a stem and leaf plot. So the first one is frequency distribution table. Frequency distribution table summarize the data into a table containing range where the data falls, and the frequency or the amount of data that fall in that range. For example, the frequency of the GDP per capita in the 20 countries with the highest such gross domestic products per person is given below. The GDP of minus 40,000 is the number of countries which has minus 40,000 GDP is 5 countries. So they're going to make it like GDP range and the number of countries and continuously. The next one, stem and leaf plots, is the ways which works best when the data can be subdivided into tens and units. Suppose that the GDP per capita from the examples above is 81, 76, and next, which is given in the thousands of dollars. So in other words, if one country has a GDP per capita is $81,000, namely Luxembourg, for example, we're going to be hiding the decimal points. In the stem and leaf plot, 8/1 means there is one country which GDP per person is 80,000 per capita. Next one, graphical representation. Graphical representation may like histogram. A histogram is a vertical bar chart like where the values highest represent the frequencies, also called counts. For example, about GDP per capita, which we made a frequency distribution above, looks like this. For example, like the horizontal one represents the GDP and the vertical one represents the frequency. The next one, frequency polygon, is another way of graphically representing the data where instead of using bars, we connect the given heights by a straight line. Means that the GDP and the countries, the points is connected with a straight line. For examples like this. And another one, cumulative frequency distributions and ogives. A cumulative frequency table is obtained by counting how many items fall below a certain boundary. For example, like cumulative frequency table that here, the GDP range less than 40,000, the number of countries is 5. They provide less than less than blah blah blah, less than blah blah blah, which we can use to create a cumulative frequency polygon called an ogive. It is similar with the polygon just now. The next one is dot plot. Dot plot is a way of providing data by using plots and dot charts, but we'll concentrate on that similar to a histogram, but they use dot plot as seen below. The next one is pie chart. It is a common way of using graphical representations for qualitative data. For example, using percentage. That's all I think. Thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum.